What up, what up? Welcome back to the channel. I'm Mouzakis and we are locked in. This is episode 4 of Clickbait, the Mistress. So the whole time Sophie was doing her thing, oh, my boy Nick turned out he was doing his thing with Emma Beasley out in LA. The only difference is she was doing it with somebody she worked with that has access to the family and sees the family every day. And Nick, he was doing his with a girl out of town. You know, I had to fly out there. I could send gifts, but it's not going to trace back as easily. But before we get into this episode, shout out to the notification gang. If you're new to the channel, you'll be a part of it. Hit your subscribe button, turn on your notification bell so you get something every time I upload. Hit that like button. It's the easiest thing you can do. And we're on that road to 7,000 subscribers. But Emma Beasley, now we got to bring her in. She confronted Sophie and was like, hey, I was dating Nick. Or was it Danny Walters? Whoever it was, I was dating him and it hurt me dearly to find out he was dead. So let's jump into it. This is episode 4 of The Mistress, Clickbait. Detective Amiri brings Emma in and he's talking to her. How long were you guys together? Oh, 6 months. We were still in love when it all happened. He's like, I'm not trying to hear none of that. Those messages in that video, do you know why he would write that? And she's saying the same thing as Sophie. That's not how Danny, in her case, aka Nick, would act. He wouldn't hurt anybody. He was a genuine guy, sweet. So the detective, he's like, all right, well, why is this? And would you know anybody that would want to hurt him? Now you have to follow up with everybody. Now, Sophie, we got Curtis arrested because Curtis actually assaulted him. Now, is there anybody that Emma knows about that could be one of these people that help, kidnap and murder him? That's what we're trying to figure out. And this mistress, she came all the way from LA. That's like 5 hours to get up here to the Bay. Now, we get to see Emma and Danny's relationship. He's coming down to LA. They big kicking. I'm talking about big headboards. He in here sweet talking her. You know where I'd rather be? He hops in the bed. They kissing and stuff. So Emma, she was getting the sweet life. He wasn't getting none of that action from Sophie at the house. So he had to go get it elsewhere. Now, what I want to know is, what did Sophie do to make him feel like he needed to go cheat? Because they were together for 6 months and her and Curtis were 3 months. So what did she do that he felt like he had to go fill that void and go mess around? Because that's what women say. What did Nick come up short on to make Sophie go cheat? No. Let's see. What did Sophie do to make Danny go cheat? Now, Emma, she has a nice little job going for her. What she does is she works with insurance. So if you have a problem with a hospital or something, and in this case, there's a man, his wife is having a tumor that, and he can't really deal with it. So what she's doing is she's actually helping people out. She's going against the corporation because insurance doesn't want to pay out these insurance claims. Now, what she does is she's leading them on what to say. Hey, say you got a lawyer. Oh, I got a lawyer. And the reason she's doing this is because if the company can get around litigation, because if you go to court and sue somebody, you're usually going to get more money than what you would get if you settle out of court. So what she's saying is, hey, we'll just go ahead and settle this for you and get everything taken care of. And it's going to help him and he doesn't have to hire a lawyer. So Emma, she has a genuine heart and she's sweet because she's going against her own company, because they could have easily beat this guy if he ain't had no lawyer. She's celebrating. My boy Danny then sent a teddy bear, flowers. So she goes home. She's looking in the mirror. You deserve it. You deserve to be loved. She's putting up the picture of him and her in front of the little TV. I'm like, man, you making all this money and you got this little 17-inch TV in this house. Come on, man, upgrade that. But right now, she's just in love. The next day, she's out jogging with her girl. They getting in shape. Hey, we live by the beach. We in LA. We making good money. She's in love. We on that treadmill. Hey, Danny wants to meet you. Her friend like, okay, bring him. But then on the TV, on the little treadmill, Brewer's abuse allegations. What did the family know? She like, oh, headphones. She puts it in. She like, wait, Brewer, that's not his name. He told me his name was Danny Walters. So she's seeing the actual news conference, not conference, but the news press about Nick's dying. And she's like, oh my God, that isn't Nick. He told me his name was Danny and he's been sending me gifts. Now, all through the day, she's just thinking of this. Danny is dead, but wait, is he really Nick? So when she's at home, she starts talking to herself while she's watching all the news media and all the news coverage. I need to go to Oakland and I need to help out, because she has been dealing with this man for 6 months. So in between that 3 months that Sophie was messing with him, there was 3 months before that she was with him and she may know something. So her plan is to go up to Oakland. And we seen in the last episode, she actually went to Oakland and she talked directly to Sophie. And at the beginning of this episode, she's talking to the investigator. But now we need to backtrack and see everything that happened between her and Danny, aka Nick. Back at the Brewer house, the family, they're coming together. And that's one thing about a death. It's either A, going to bring the family closer together, or B, is going to tear you apart. But it looks like they're starting to, we just miss Nick. So they're talking about all the memories they had. And even Sophie comes down. Her and Pia, they had their disagreements. But at this point, they got to put that aside and make sure the family is good. Now, they just talk about how Nick met Sophie and what he said to Sophie's mom, and he was like, all my intentions are good for her. So the family, they're coming to terms with this. But we know with the mistress coming in town, that can just derail all of the good work we just been putting in the last 48 hours. Now, Emma has all this money. She goes to the airport. And if you ever bought a ticket at the airport, like the last minute flights, those ticket prices are 25, 30, sometimes 50% higher than what you would normally pay if you're paying for a last second. I have experienced that. We were going to Thailand from Germany, and one of my boys, his ticket didn't work. He had to go to the last second thing. We all got our tickets for like $500. He ended up spending like almost $9. Buy your tickets early. But when she goes there and she says, I hear you guys have a grievance, if there's like a death or something. And the lady at the counter says, yeah, but it's only for, spouses or parents. And she's like, well, it was kind of my fiance. That doesn't count. Y'all not married. You can't put on a paper my fiance. You can't put on a paper my boyfriend, my girlfriend. You had to say my wife or my husband. That's it. But the lady behind the counter, she's like, all right, I understand. This would be one time we can, bend the rules a little bit. Emma, she goes to the house. She wants to see what's going on. When she gets there, there's a guy named Ben. He says, I'm the guy that broke the story. Now, he thought that Emma was a journalist, but she's not. But being a journalist for him, he's like, okay, a random lady just shows up. She's not with any press. A couple of days have passed. Why is she here? So he's kind of digging a little bit, talking about if you want to discuss anything, talk to me. We can share information. Now, Emma's at the house, and this is the moment where Sophie actually leaves. And Sophie drives by and sees her before they meet up, and they talk about what happened in the affair that she was having with Danny. They kind of both make eye contact, and that's why Sophie said, why are you following me? Because she's seen her at the house. Oh man, this is just getting interesting. And this is just a recap of what happened in the wife episode. She's talking to her, are you a journalist? Why are you following me? And this is when she discovers that that Nick was actually having an affair with Emma. And Sophie's like, oh my goodness, so it wasn't just me. Man, when you say a love triangle, this is like a love rectangle, because, this way. I don't know. We might have to go into a love pentagon, all these angles. Later on that night, Emma gets a FaceTime call from a homegirl in LA, the one that was on the treadmill. Like, what are you still doing there? I want you to come back. Because she's just feeling like Danny lied to her, and he had a whole family and kids on the side. So, well, I won't even say on the side, in real life, and you were on the side. But she's like, you need to just come back and leave that alone. That's in the past. There's nothing you can do there. But Emma, I was in love. I got to stay here. I got to figure out what's going on. I'm going to tell you what's going on. Nick is dead. The affair you had is over with. Whatever he sent you is yours. You're done. It's over. Detective Amiri, he's doing his job. All right, Emma. Work with me. You were dating him. Do you know who kidnapped him? Do you know who killed him? What do you know? And she's like, no. Did he ever abuse you? Did he get it angry? Did he raise his voice? And this is why I say to talk to a lawyer before you go talk to the cop. And one thing they're going to do is they're going to try to make somebody seem like the bad guy. Nick was killed. Nick was kidnapped. And they're still, oh man, did he ever raise his voice or anything? Like, hey, Nick is the victim here. I keep telling y'all, and I'm going to keep telling y'all, and I'm going to keep telling you, never talk to the cops without a lawyer present. They're going to do whatever they can to solve this case. Now, Detective Amiri wants to say, hey, do you know if he was talking to any other girls on any other apps? This fool Emma going to say, nah, we were exclusive. How were you exclusive when he's married with a family? Y'all ain't exclusive. But the question we're dying to hear from, where were you the morning Nick came up missing? I'm like, oh, well, yeah, well, I'm out of here. Lawyer, you not sticking this on me. I was at work, but I ain't saying nothing else to y'all. Lawyer, I'm out. Now, Emma got her friend drug into this. She talking about, hey, it's Emma. I know who's calling me. I got caller ID. The cops want to talk to you to corroborate my, my alibi. Hell no, I ain't talking to no law. I live in LA. I ain't got nothing to do with that. I told your ass not to go to Oakland and put your nose in that. Now look at you. You trying to get me to corroborate your alibi. No, because if I say something and then it turns out your ass was somewhere else, no, I'm not getting into none of that. I don't talk to the police. Plain and simple. That's what I would have said. Like, hey, you might as well just come back to LA. They ain't got nothing on you. You gave your information. You ain't got nothing else to do. Just go back home. Now she walking around Oakland, looking at the websites, Nick Brewer memorial service. Join us in celebration, the life, the achievements of Nick Brewer, Merit Sports Performance Center. And she like, Nick Brewer? I had Danny Walters. He wasn't as established as Nick was, but she just walking around the city. I mean, what are you really going to do? You went to another city and you just there. You went to talk to the cops. You talked to the wife. Now you just sitting around wasting money. Go back home. She goes to the memorial service and she starts rubbing off some chalk that was on the wall. Somebody made some bad comments about Nick on there. Now the guy Matt comes up. Now we haven't really seen too much of Matt. He hugged Sophie when they were at the little, ceremony and stuff. So he's been around in the school. This is actually the first person Pia would talk to when she came up to the school. And he's like, yeah, Nick was a good guy. And she's like, yeah, he was. But she didn't know Nick. She knew Danny. And the guy was like, all right, well, cool. He gets a phone call. He walks off. And she's like, hey, nice to meet you. So she may have heard about this guy from Danny, but she never really met him or, because he couldn't introduce people to her just because his name. It ain't Nick. It was Danny. Emma snuck into the building. She done got into Nick Brewer's physical therapist office. She's looking at the pictures. He's over there hugging Sophie. He got the little girls up there from the volleyball team. Some lady comes in like, hey, what are you doing here? This is a private office. Get your ass out of here. Quit touching stuff. Pia storms down there and she's talking to Matt because Matt was on those trips with Danny, or was it Nick? Which one was he when he went down there? But she's like, hey, did you know about him cheating in LA? He's like, what? She like, none of that bro code stuff. First of all, I ain't telling that none of my boys did anything, especially if my boy's dead. Oh, I'm not feeling no dirt on my man. Let my man rest in peace. But Matt is like, wait, was the girl named Emma? She like, yeah. He was like, she was just here. Pia's like, oh Lord. Now they need to be there when Pia confronts this girl, because we know Pia don't play around. She may jump on her, and Emma don't look like she's ready for war. Now Pia, she drugged out. We seen her. We seen how she get down. She get that liquor. She get the popping pills. She another animal. Emma, she looks fragile and frail. Now Sophie, she's getting things in order because her husband died. She got the family to take care of. We got to get all the business matters, such as like if you had a will, the bank, PODs, paid on death, are more important than the will, because the will only covers things you have, but if it's in the bank, you want to have a POD. So if you die, the beneficiary, the bank goes straight to them. They don't go through the will. If not, then it's going to go into the little court system, and then you have to wait a couple of months to get it. I forgot what it's called, but she's here and she's just having flashbacks of Pia going off on her, talking about a mistake is forgetting to take out the trash, not having sex with somebody else. So she just has a lot on her mind and on her plate right now. Now she's getting random text messages from all kinds of unknown people. You don't deserve children, you adulterer. What else? Fuck off and die. $4 and a head job, you cheap whore. Cheap slut. Cocksucker. Like, damn, they ain't giving no slack here. They going in on her. You got to change that number, and you got to delete all your social media so nobody will bother you. Now she's crying and playing the victim. The family's comforting her. Hey, all this is because of you. No one said have an affair. No one said do that, but you decided to do it, and you got to live with those consequences. Now, I know it hurts, and I do have some sympathy for her. She did lose her husband, but at the same time, those text messages are coming because of something you did, not because your husband is dead. Pia pulls up on her. oh, what are you doing here, Emma? And Emma's like, hey, when we were in love, he wasn't happening in this marriage. He was going to leave her once the kids graduated. And Pia's like, nah, you're lying. She's like, nah, I'm for real. We talk like every single day. And he said that you and him were very close. Something happened when y'all were kids and it bonded y'all very, very tightly. Now, I told y'all they have a very close relationship. So for Pia to hear this from Emma, she's like, okay, maybe you did really talk to him. So this is going to give her some insight on her brother that she didn't really normally see. Because when he was with Sophie, it was a different thing, but it seemed like he was more open with Emma. And normally you see that when somebody's going outside, they talk about all their problems that they're having internally with that outside person. But Pia, she kind of calms down and relaxes. She gets a text message from Sophie, please come over, it's urgent. So we need to find out what this text message is for. And Emma, we're going to be back for you. Don't you even think about going to LA. Matter of fact, let me see your driver's license. Let me take a picture of this so I can get your address. This urgent text message was Sophie's number was leaked online along with all of her credit card information. So she's like, oh man, I got to call the credit cards. I got to change my number. And Mama Brewer, she's like, just like I've been saying, Sophie's not the victim here. Nick is dead. And they're like, oh, well, she still needs to protect her and the kids. Like, Sophie isn't the victim here. If it was the other way around and Nick was worried about getting his number changed and getting his credit cards canceled, they'd be like, oh, you don't care about your wife? See, whenever it's a man, they do things a little differently. But the mom is right. Nick is the victim. We need to be worrying about letting the cops do their job to find who murdered her son, your husband. But from the beginning, I told y'all, Sophie wasn't acting the same way Pia was towards her husband. It's crazy, man. It's very, very crazy. Emma gets a random call on the hotel phone. Hello? We've been watching you. We know what you're doing here. You need to get out of here because it won't end well. So whoever this is, they got some power. If they actually know that he had a side thing and she flew up here, he got the hotel number. They got all this information. Hey, first flight out of there. I ain't even checking out. Hey, you didn't check out? Hey, man, somebody got this room number. I'm gone. Just like I said, Emma, she gets her stuff. She like, I am gone. I'm talking about she reversing out the parking lot. She speeding in the parking garage. I ain't gonna lie to you. I ain't never been that scared in my life. Well, there was one time these dudes got to shooting and I had to get up out of there. But that's a whole different story. Like, all she got was a phone call. Wasn't no like imminent threat or danger there. She's skirting off the parking lot, jumping off the curb. She like, the hell with this. Whole time she thinking she's getting away, but she just drawing all kinds of attention. You skirting out in a Toyota Camry. We got a Ford truck behind you just following you. Like, well, she won't be hard to follow. She's swerving all around the street, making all this noise. Now she want to slow down and just drive regular. La-dee-dee. And that damn truck came up on the side, knocked her off the road. She, oh my goodness. If you don't speed off, you gonna speed off. Don't speed off and then turn the corner. La-dee-dee. Hell no, get low. Now she laid up in the hospital. Remember, she works for the insurance company and she got to call her job. Like, yeah, I got in a wreck. They were talking about who gonna do your insurance paperwork. She's like, I'll do it when I get back. But they said, oh, well, you need to be taking leave while you're up in that hospital. But that's just me thinking business and management side. Now, Detective Amiri shows up. He's like, did you understand or recognize the voice? She's like, no, I never heard him before. Pia shows up. She's still upset with her for messing around with her brother, but she's still there to be supportive because she knows that Emma, if someone's trying to attack her, that means Emma has some information. They know it. And now Pia's like, we need to figure it out. And her and Woody, the detective Amiri, they gonna figure this out also. Now, Pia and the detective, they had a little deal that she would go and request that he takes over the case. We know that they talk to each other on the little social media platform, the dating site. Well, it wasn't really too much talking, but she's saying, you know something and you left me out the loop. At the end of the day, he's still a cop. I could only tell you so much stuff before I tell you something you run off with it and messed up the investigation. We got a murder on our hands here. Now, I know it's your brother, but at the same time, you got to calm down. It's only so much I can tell you. And this is why he kept her out the loop, because there were other women. He didn't want to tell you. Oh man, Nick was a player. Let me tell you. We got Nick, we got Danny, we got Arthur, we got John, we got Malik. I don't know why he called himself Malik. I'm just giving off names, but Nick was running around the city. I'm talking about multiple dating accounts, multiple women. Back in the room, Emma's looking at old text messages. What do you think our kids will look like? Danny being the player that he is. You, I hope. Now, Pia comes in and breaks the news to her. Nick had multiple accounts on different sites. He'll get a girl, start dating them, and once it's over, he would deactivate the account. Just like he deactivated the account we seen for the Nick. I mean, not for Nick, but for the Danny account. And she's like, wait, are you sure? And Pia's like, yeah, Nick was moving around, bro. After she heard that Nick or Danny or whoever he was had multiple women, she said, you know what? I'm out of here. Someone just tried to run me off the road. She heads back home, arm in a sling, got the gash on her head. I know the airlines is like, ma'am, you might have to drive back to LA. We don't want you on this plane. But she gets home and opens up this laptop because we got to figure out something. We got to see if there's any clues. Emma gets online. She started doing some research. She sees this girl. She pulls up on her like, hey, you got a picture of him also? And then she goes to another girl. You got a picture also? Turns out our boy Danny was telling all the women the same thing, that they were going to get married. They were going to have kids. They were going to have a house. So now she's looking at it. Maybe I wasn't exclusive with him. I told you he wasn't exclusive. He had a wife. The whole time you knew he had a wife and he was telling you he was going to leave the wife. So there's no way you're exclusive if he's still married. But now she's just meeting with all the other women. And it looks like they all in the LA area too. See, you keep all that away from your house, you're less likely to get caught up. Just FYI, people. Now, you remember that reporter Ben that gave her the card? Well, Emma's like, I'm going to take this and I'm going to get some fame out of this. I don't understand why people come out the woodworks. This man is dead. Don't try to make a profit off his name. But you see this all the time with women. Oh, I was having an affair with him. So she went to the reporter and she starts to tell her story and said, hey, I told him he had to come clean with me. And that's when he admitted that he was married. And the reporter's like, so you still stayed with a married man? And of course, she's like, yeah, but no one ever gives him any flag. Like, hey, he was a married man. But I mean, I agree. It's on him to decide what to do. He's the married one. You're not. But don't come out and try to make a name for yourself. And now you all in the spotlight. Come on, man. You got a respectable job, Emma. After the little interview, she goes home and she burns her painting. I can't stand to look at this anymore. There you go. Episode 4, The Mistress. Emma Beasley doing her thing. Do you think she should have came forward and talked to the news about the affair that she was having? Because, I mean, at the end of the day, it's not like he was hiding the marriage from her. She knew about it. And now she's on TV trying to, come up off of it. Let me know what y'all think about that. And we got the reporter coming up next. So I think him and Emma, they going to do some damage to these people. But let me know what y'all think. I'm Mouzakis. Thanks for watching. If you like the content on the channel, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Thanks for watching again. I'm out.
Jimmy on the beat, boy.